It is now time to open Texas 100%. Everybody who wants to work should have that opportunity. Every business that wants to be open should be open.
So there you have it, folks. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has reopened Texas 100% and also lifted the statewide mask mandate. Mississippi has also followed that lead and will be reopening shortly. And there are a lot of other states that have already been open with no mask mandates or that are opening now. And California? Well, California, you guys, is set to reopen as well, but in 2024. I still think that's a really funny title. So guys, today we're going to talk about the different stages of reopening in different states, what's going on in Texas, what's going on in other states like Florida, and compare and contrast that to what is happening in California. And I'm going to talk about this from a business perspective, guys, because again, this channel is all about real estate business and finance. And as you just heard Greg Abbott say, he's doing this so that every business that wants to open can do so, and everyone that wants to work can also do so. So we're going to talk about from a business perspective where you would rather be. So let's jump right in. But first and foremost, guys, IAMDIMA, thanks for tuning in. If you're a returning subscriber, just want to thank you, let you know how much I appreciate your support of the channel. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and hitting that like button if you get value from the video. And so you guys, by lifting the mask mandate in Texas, Texas now joins these other states that don't have a mask mandate as well. So if you're someone who doesn't like masks, these are the states for you. Let's check them out. We got Alaska, Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Iowa, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, and Tennessee. Now, a lot of these states are also wide open for businesses and for everything else like schools. And so in these states, and this is consistent with what Greg Abbott said recently, that he wants to make sure that all businesses that want to open, that want to operate can do so and can do so at full capacity. Of course, schools have already been open in Texas and Florida and a lot of other states for a long time. We'll talk about California in just a second, but I do want to talk about these other states. Now, guys, you know, it's really hard, I think, in today's day and age to make everyone happy. So when Greg Abbott did this, of course, there were a lot of people in Texas that were super excited. There's a lot of people in California that are super excited as well. And there's a lot of people, of course, that like what Florida's doing. On the other side of the coin, of course, there are a lot of skeptics. There are a lot of people who say that, you know, maybe this is not the right thing to do, who say that we should have mandates in place, that there should be limits on capacity and things like that. And so what Greg Abbott said when you read the article really and look at his press conference is that Texas is really in a great position to reopen right now. Vaccines are on the rise. Herd immunity is coming. By the way, I'm not a doctor, just to let you know. I just read the articles, I just read the news, and I read the issues and make up my own conclusions based on the data. So he said that Texas is very well positioned. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has been saying for a long time that, based on their cases, based on their analysis, there's no need for these crazy restrictions that states like California and some of the other states with Democratic governors have. And so that is what I wanted to highlight for you today. Let's turn our attention to California for just a second. So when Texas announced they'd be reopening 100%, not surprisingly, Gavin Newsom came out and said that this is absolutely reckless, which is kind of how I describe his governing style. Now, here's the thing, guys. In California, which is where I live right now, we've had school closures, we've had business closures, we still don't have indoor dining. Most schools, even though the counties have said that they can reopen, the teachers' unions are not really allowing that to happen. And so in most areas, schools are not really fully open yet. There's a lot of lower schools, elementary schools, things like that are starting to reopen. There was a quote unquote deal announced by Gavin Newsom and the legislators the other day, but all that did was just say that we encourage you to reopen, but a lot of these schools don't want to do it because they're trying to push a different agenda that is politics-based and not in favor of the kids and reopening the schools. So that's what's going on in California. So the reason I want to highlight this, you guys, is if you're a business owner like me, like so many others, where would you rather be? Do you want to be in a state that has this controlling style of government that wants to tell you what to do, that wants to control which businesses are open and which aren't? Or do you want to be in a state that values personal liberties and freedoms and things like that and allows the people to decide? Now, guys, I want to make something very clear because I know that I'm going to get a lot of pushback and a lot of comments from people who get angry about this kind of stuff and say that we shouldn't be lifting these mandates and that there should be restrictions. Well, guys, here's the deal. All we're saying is that you don't need the government to tell you what to do. If you want to stay home, stay home. If you feel that it's unsafe to have your kids in school, keep them at home. If you feel that you need to wear a mask in a restaurant or in a business or outside while you're jogging or in a car when you're driving by yourself, go ahead. No judgment. Well, maybe a little judgment on the whole car thing by yourself. But other than that, no judgment, right? So go ahead and do it. But the people that don't want to do it should not be forced in a compulsory way by the government to do these things when the studies, the science, and everything has really been so mixed on all of these topics. And so all we're saying, and all people like Greg Abbott are saying, is that we trust the people of our state to do the right thing. We don't need to have restrictions on dining in schools, and we don't need to force you to wear a mask. If you want to, great. If you don't want to, also great. And so from a business perspective, again, guys, that really is the ultimate question, because what I'm talking about on this channel is business, right? So if you own a business, if you operate a business, where do you want to be? And it's kind of a leading question because obviously from what we've seen in terms of migration patterns, there are so many people leaving states like California to go to places like Texas and Florida because of the lower regulations, lower taxes, governing style, and everything that goes on there. I have, of course, made several videos on this topic. You can check out a whole playlist called California Love right over here if you are so inclined. And by the way, if you like videos like this about business and about real estate and about what we're doing in our society and our country and how we tie all of those things in together, give me a big like on this video. I do want to tell you guys, you may notice I ask you to like these videos. And some of you have asked me why I do that. The reason why, guys, is that YouTube's an interesting thing. And when you like the video, the YouTube algorithm will start showing it to more people, and it will really help support the channel. So all you got to do is just click that little thumbs up button down below. Anyhow, I do want to hear what you think about this topic. So do you think that Abbott is correct? Do you think that there should be mandates like this in place, or do you think that we shouldn't have them? And I kind of said that backwards, but do you think that we shouldn't have, you know what I mean, these mandates and restrictions, and we should just allow the people to make the best decision that makes sense? Or should we be governing like guys like Newsom and restricting a lot of these things? Only final thing I want to say, guys, is the deadline for the Gavin Newsom recall is coming up very soon. And even though we're already past the number of signatures required for this election, Gavin Newsom does want voter ID and does want to verify all of the signatures. How interesting. And so we got to make sure that we have enough signatures to recall Gavin and to have a special election later this year so that we can change what's going on in California for the better. Because believe it or not, as I said, the schools, a lot of them are still closed. We still don't have indoor dining. And yes, we have many other restrictions. So once again, guys, thanks for tuning in today. I really appreciate your support. Make sure you follow me on your favorite social media channel. Text me to connect with me directly, find out about my giveaways, get some exclusive content, and I will see you on the next video.